Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez is the trend of the moment in the boxing world. Prior to his fight against Mike Tyson and after Jake defeated Tyson, the name Canelo Alvarez has not left Jake Paul's mouth.
I just have one thing to say. Canelo, ¿quién es la carrera de boxeo ahora, papi?
The first one publicly challenged Canelo to make a super fight, but then he retracted and said that Canelo needs him because Canelo needs a payday before retiring. Obviously, all this is just a strategy of Jake Paul to get Canelo's attention. And in fact, he achieved his goal. At this moment, a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul seems like something fantastical, and that will never happen because Canelo is the face of the boxing world, and he's a world champion, and he is infinitely superior to Paul in terms of boxing level. But nevertheless, the fight is more likely than people think, and in this video, I'll explain why.
He's got to come talk with us. I'm going to get the cruiserweight belt, and then Canelo can come and see me.
The first reason why Canelo might accept a fight against Jake Paul was explained by Jake himself. As I said before, Jake Paul thinks that Canelo needs him because he needs a big payday before he retires. That's a lie, since Canelo is a multi-millionaire and he doesn't need anyone to generate millions of dollars. And what is true is that Canelo is close to retirement. Alvarez will turn 35 next year, and that means that Canelo has very little time left in the sport. I would say that Canelo will retire in the next 3 or 4 years, and although he doesn't need money, and he doesn't need Jake Paul either, a multi-million-dollar fight that on paper he can easily win is not a bad option for a person like Canelo, who has always stood out for being a great businessman.
Would Canelo be the next fight, finally? Would that happen?
If he's not a fucking puta.
There's the answer!
Another big reason why Canelo might agree to fight Jake Paul is because Canelo is simply in decline and he knows it. Canelo knows perfectly well that he no longer has the reflexes and skills to defeat the young, hungry lions. That's the reason why he never wanted to fight David Benavidez and David Morrell. Canelo knows that those two men are very talented and dangerous young boxers that could destroy him if he ever got in the ring with either of them. In the last few years of his career, Canelo has dedicated himself to fighting boxers that he knows he can beat. Canelo doesn't risk taking another L on his record, and Jake Paul fits perfectly into those parameters. Jake Paul is a young guy, but he is a very low-level boxer that Canelo can defeat without any problem. That fight would really be easy for Canelo, and would represent a huge amount of money for his retirement. If that happens, it would be similar to what Floyd Mayweather did when he fought Conor McGregor in the last fight of his professional career. Floyd guaranteed a huge amount of money against an opponent who was not even a boxer.
Canelo needs me, so I'm not even going to try and call him out, but he knows he wants the payday, so he knows where the money man's at.
Thank you.
And finally, the last reason why Canelo Alvarez could fight Jake Paul is because Canelo is running out of commercially attractive opponents. Canelo is in a weight division that is so lacking in big names. The biggest fight that Canelo could have at 168 pounds was against David Benavidez. That was the fight that we all wanted to see, but we all know the story. Canelo did not want to fight him, and now Benavidez is a boxer that belongs at 175 because he got tired of waiting for Canelo and left the weight class. The only fight that Canelo can do right now that could massively spark the interest of the fans is against Terrence Crawford, who is a boxer that was 2 weight divisions below Canelo. 168 pounds is a weight division in decline because of Alvarez, and now he is simply lacking in operations, and that's where Jake Paul enters the equation. Canelo could perfectly organize a fight against Jake Paul because of the lack of names that are there right now in the weight division that Canelo is reigning over. With a reduced number of options, Jake Paul becomes a real option to fight Canelo Alvarez, and even that could happen faster than you imagine. You may dislike Jake Paul, or you may like him, but it's undeniable that this man represents many millions of dollars in boxing. Jake is a marketing genius, and a multi-million-dollar fight for anyone. That's the reason why right now, you're seeing world champions wanting to fight him, when we all know that Jake Paul is the level of a Class D boxer, or maybe even worse than that. Canelo Alvarez is a very smart guy. Maybe for now he says that he doesn't want to fight Jake Paul, but that opinion can change at any moment, because money moves the world. Canelo knows that.
Canelo's brought it up, so it makes sense. And he's coming to the end of his career where he's going to want to make a lot of money. He left PBC, so Canelo, once again, I want to fight you, brother. Let's make it happen. You can run, but you can't hide.